Music!
Welcome to Leon's Top 5. Number 5, Ballpark Music, Weirder and Weirder. This outfit from Brisbane is really, really fun, vivacious, indie rock outfit that just have so much spunk, so much fun. Some of the songs just kind of woke me up, made me want to go and do things, live life, enjoy summer. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a really, really fun album. Definitely reckon you should check it out.
Coming in at number 5 for me this year was, I can never pronounce the band name, Allegaeon with the album Damnum, which is also hard to pronounce. It's excellent driving music, can confirm. And my favorite track off this album, I believe, is called Into Embers.
All right, top 5 albums for me of 2022. It was a hard one because there was a lot of really good albums this year. Some that I thought were going to make it that didn't, some that did that I didn't think would. So in no particular order, number 1, Jani, Liimatainen's My Father's Son, solo album with a bunch of guest musicians, just incredible. Love the dude's work since back in the Sonata Arctica days. This is just a top shelf release, absolutely love it. Sometimes power metal, sometimes melodic death metal-ish, just awesome.
What year is it? Deathcore, metalcore, 2007 emo bands that should have died out 13 years ago having revival periods. I don't know what's going on anymore, but I've worked it out. Okay, I've done it. I've worked out definitively how to prove what the absolute best album of the year is. All we have to do is put all the dot points together and work out what the absolute most angsty emo banger of the year was. The absolute worst bad boy. That's what we're searching for. That's how we work out the best album of the year, undebatably. And in 5th place, we have The Devil Wears Prada with Color Decay. Actually, just an amazingly solid modern metalcore album that stands up really strongly. Check it out.
Album number 5 is in Norway. All right, we got Blood Command Praise Armageddonism. This is Norwegian funk that is infectiously fun. Funk or even punk? I don't know, it's just that good. And it is just so Moorish. You just cannot get enough of this stuff. It has more hooks than a bait and tackle store, and some homegrown talent sprinkled in there as well. Shout out to Nikki. Good stuff.
Number 4, James Norbert Ivanyi's The Sine, Intimation. Beautiful, beautiful piece of art that showcased James's talent with just drums and synths, no guitar at all, even though this guy is a guitar virtuoso. He's absolutely brilliant musician, and this truly showcases how good of a musician he is.
Coming in at number 4 this year is Psycroptic with the album Divine Counsel. Favorite songs off this one were pretty much both the singles, which I think both have video clips, Enslavement and Rend Asunder. It's just a very, very groovy album. These are a bunch of blokes who have obviously mastered their craft over the years, and for that, it comes in at number 4.
Another power metal album, Stratovarius' Survive. Best thing they've done in so many years. I've loved almost every release they've ever done. This is just a gem in their catalogue. Probably the best thing since back in the Infinite days, to be honest. Absolutely love it. Get on it.
Okay, and in position 4, we're looking for the absolute shadowiest, best angsty boy of all time. And we have Norma Jean's new album, Deathrattle Sing For Me. Honestly, this album is sludgy, it's noisy, it's dark and ominous. It reminds me of early Converge, and I had such a depressingly good time with it. It's fantastic.
Number 4 is Fallujah's Imperium. Telling you what, Tech Death is back on the menu, boys. This stuff is mwah, chef's kiss. Has Cosmic Goddess on the cover, that's always a good sign for a Fallujah album. And as such, it heralds the return of their powerhouse releases. It's a banger from cover to cover. Really recommend you check it out.
Looks like death metal. Back on the menu, boys.
Number 3, Blood Command, Praise Armageddonism. This Norway punk hardcore band truly showcase an amazing summery, punky, dancey vibe, showcasing Nikki from ex-Pagan singer, who's an Australian, moved to Norway to go join this band and is now an international touring superstar with these guys. Go check them out.
So coming in at number 3 this year is Lamb of God with the album Omens. This album is partly 2007 styled metalcore, Lamb of God, and then a lot of fresh, new styled riffs as well thrown in there. Randy tries to do a few clean vocals on there as well, which is not very common. Art Cruz, the drummer, who's been with him for the last 2 albums, really keeps the Chris Adler drum style and drum sound, which gives it that old school vibe as well. But it's just nice to see them trying new things at this point of their career where they're like all around 50 years old. So
The Halo Effect, the Days of the Lost. How could I not have that in there? It is just unadulterated, pure Gothenburg 90s melodic death metal. I mean, ex-members and current members of Dark Tranquillity, In Flames, so on and so forth. You can't go wrong. It's incredible. Easily one of the best albums of the year.
In third place, you've just got to go fast. And Under Oath have been one of my favorite bands for most of my life, and their new album, Voyeurist, that came out at the start of the year, just proves why. It's noisy, it's messy, they are a band with a driving force trying to make the most intense and emotional songs that tug on everything good about like alt, hardcore, and metalcore. I genuinely cannot recommend this album enough. If you haven't checked out Under Oath before, this is actually a great starting point. It's a really good amount, everything they're doing. Great album.
Number 3 goes to Coheed and Cambria's Vaxxus Act 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. What a mouthful. But as heavy as the concept is, it's actually snack-sized. All the songs are really short and concise. They have complexity and depth, but on face value, they're quite simple. It's great that they're able to bury the concept and just let the songs be what they are. It's really got me into Coheed and Cambria's discography. It's their catalogue, and I'm really glad to be amongst good company.
Number 2, The Deer Hunter, Antimai. It was one of the albums that they have diverged from their like standard Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 narrative, where they've actually created a list of tracks that symbolize the hierarchy of societies, starting from poverty and working class people to middle class people to higher class, upper class, and truly the people that control society, each all individualized within their tracks and kind of showcase how each of them live in a society and perceive society. And it's a really, really, really cool album.
Are there actually lizard people living among us and possibly secretly ruling us?
The instrumentation is beautiful, fantastic, and vivacious. Vivacious is a word now.
Vivacious adjective. Something that gives off good or bad vibes.
coming in at number 2. Number 2 is the band The Halo Effect with the album Days of the Lost. So like going in, I sort of was worried that there might be, too much 80s, 90s, 2000s worship of Melodeath, and like it would just be a really old sounding, outdated album, but that wasn't the case at all. Track 2 is basically something that could be thrown straight onto the Clayman album, but outside of that, it's a really refreshing take on Melodeath, and they nailed it.
Andy Gillion's arcade metal. I say enough nice things about Andy. I don't need to get into it. It's incredible. Go listen to it. It's just fun, self-indulgent, nostalgic 80s style arcade, music. It's great. It's just really fun, and you should definitely get on it.
Now, although I have definitively proven what the best album and boy of the year is, I will admit position 1 and 2 are pretty interchangeable depending on my depression. And by depression, I mean mood. And by mood, I mean ADHD. And by ADHD, I mean alcoholism. But in position 2 and number 1, Lorna Shore's The Pain Remains. Symphonic deathcore, done perfectly. It's done perfectly. Go check it out. That's all.
My number 2 pick goes to Ghost's Impera. Now, I wasn't a big Ghost fan until I saw them live, and then it all made sense. So, props to Tobias Forge for bringing something really unique to the table. I think they're one of the really strongest bands going at the moment in the rock and metal scene. So, stick that up your holes.
Number 1, Ghost, Impera. This album is truly amazing. It's Ghost purely to form, and just still being the showboaty Ghost that they are. Such fun tracks. This album is purely like my comfort food of albums. I have danced around the house way too many times to this album this year. It is so fun all the way from Kaiserion right to the end of the album. It's just an absolute tribute to the 80s and such great music. It's the best.
Number 1 of the year for me was the album Abyss Rising by Nightrage. So Nightrage is a band that I've liked for so long, but I haven't heard them in like a decade at least. They have a real Children of Bodom vibe about this album, which not many other bands are really doing these days. I feel like they did Arch Enemy's style better than Arch Enemy this year, kind of thing. So yeah, it was just a real good album, start to finish, and it also shares a name with a Yu-Gi-Oh set that came out in 2012. So Kez, if you're editing this, put it up on screen.
And today, I thought it'd be fun to open up 4 of these Yu-Gi-Oh! Abyss Rising Special Editions.
I'm gonna have to give these 2 equal place just because I feel like they take up a similar place in my listening for the year, but I couldn't possibly drop one off the list. So in the equal spot of whatever it is out of the 5 at this point is Revocation's Netherheaven and Psycroptic's The Divine Council. These 2 bands are basically just at the top of their game, and for how far into their careers both of them are, it is ridiculous for them to be putting out just the sheer quality they are. Both relentless and still sometimes strangely catchy and melodic for such like technical bands. It's just been an absolute pleasure watching both of them grow and get excited about every single release. Like not one release have they had where I haven't just been like, here we go, and they've both done it again. That's my top 5. Enjoy.
And number 1, the definitive best boy, most angsty, fastest, bestest, angriest, emoest, breakdowniest, hardcoreiest, best boy of all. And by boy I mean album, because that's the stupid theme I decided to run with for this stupid video, is the entire 6 hours of the Sonic the Hedgehog OST. It's fantastic. This isn't even a bit. Go listen to the Sonic soundtrack. It's amazing. But this is a bit. My number 1 album of the year is actually Broken by the Scream, Rise into Chaos. It's anime, tech death metal, symphonic deathcore, J-pop, prog, speed metal. It's a really big mess. And what that artwork, I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's awful. I listened to this album way too much this year. Nothing made sense. I don't know what's going on. All right, bye.
And my number 1 pick this year goes to Rollo Tomasi's Where Myth Becomes Memory. This album is like if Sleep Paralysis had a good ending. It's dark, it's melancholy, it's terrifying, it's heavy, it's scary, but it's also really wistful and beautiful in its moments. It has that post-rock ambience, goes into black gaze at times. It's quite lo-fi, but high effort. Absolutely my pick of the year.
Intimation. What the fuck is an intimation, James?
God damn it, prog bands.
Did you really have to instantly make the Diglett a dick?
Oh, that was an accident.
Vaxxus Act 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. Unbelievable, are you serious? They're just like Vaxxus 2, or Vaxxus.
Angsty, weird, emo, metalcore, chorish, metally, banger, angsty, emo. Well, I'm just saying the same term again. Yeah.